AITA for walking out of my own birthday dinner after my husband invited his coworkers, including one who has constantly disrespected me? I'm Maya, 34, and this went down last weekend. For my birthday, I planned a quiet dinner, just me and my husband Elliot, 36 million, at a restaurant I'd been wanting to try for months. Honestly, I almost didn't even want to go. I'd had a long week, was exhausted, and all I really wanted was a quiet night in. But Elliot encouraged me to go, said it'd be good for me to dress up, get out, and celebrate. We have a 3-year-old daughter, and between parenting, work, and life, moments that are just for me are few and far between. I'm a work-from-home mom now. I have a law degree and practiced for years, but after becoming a mom, I shifted into a role where I could still work in the field without spending my life in courtrooms. I'm by no means unattractive, but let's be real. Working from home while raising a toddler doesn't exactly give me a lot of time to dress up or go out. He booked the reservation. I set up childcare, got dressed up, and was genuinely looking forward to one peaceful night where I wasn't just someone's mom or wife. I could just be me. This was my first time at this restaurant, and when we pulled up, I was genuinely in awe of how beautiful it was. Warm lights, cozy vibe, amazing smells from the open kitchen. I was actually touched that Elliot had picked such a perfect place. For a moment, it felt like he really saw me and wanted me to have something special. We went out for an early dinner around 5:30 so we could be home before our daughter's bedtime. Once we sat down, the evening started off beautifully. Elliot and I were enjoying a glass of wine, and he was complimenting me, how I looked, how proud he was of me, how hard I work. I was finally beginning to relax and feel like I could actually enjoy the night. Then he casually drops, "Oh, by the way, Michael and Natalie from work are joining us." I blinked. "You invited coworkers to my birthday dinner?" He shrugged. "They've been wanting to try this place. I thought it'd be fun." "Fun for who?" "Now, Natalie. I met her for the first time at one of Elliot's company parties about a year ago. She struck me immediately as the type who performs charm, but thrives on passive aggression. The kind of woman who sizes you up before she says hello. She made comments like, 'You're so lucky you don't have to work a demanding job,' and 'I could never stay home. I'd lose my mind without real stimulation.' She actually said, out loud, that staying home with kids would drive her insane. All of it with that syrupy, performative tone that's meant to sound supportive, but clearly isn't. I mentioned it to Elliot afterward, and he told me I was probably misreading it and that Natalie's just a little intense sometimes. So when she and Michael walked in, I was instantly annoyed, but I bit my tongue. I told myself to just get through the dinner. The first bit of conversation was mostly office chatter between the three of them, which I tuned out. But once that topic fizzled out, that's when Natalie turned her attention to me. "Wow, you really dressed up. You must be so patient. I'd lose my mind if I didn't have a career to focus on." Some women just aren't built for high-pressure environments, and that's totally fine. We'd already ordered dinner by that point, and I tried so hard to just ignore it, to keep the peace, enjoy my food, and not let her get under my skin. But Michael clearly picked up on it. At one point, he cut in and said, "Natalie, come on," and tried to change the subject. But she just smiled like nothing was wrong and kept going. I looked at Elliot, waiting for him to say something. But he just laughed awkwardly, then changed the subject. I sat there for a second, then calmly put my napkin down, looked her dead in the eye, and said, "You know, Natalie, it's honestly kind of sad watching you try to elevate yourself by undermining other women. You hide behind polished comments and faux support because you don't have the emotional intelligence to connect without competition. You talk a big game about pressure and intellect, but from where I'm sitting, all you've got is a fragile ego wrapped in designer branding. You keep mentioning how staying home with your kids would drive you crazy. Maybe because deep down you know you couldn't handle a life that doesn't give you constant external validation. I've met first-year associates with more authenticity and self-awareness." She went quiet. Smile gone. I turned to Elliot and said, "Enjoy dinner," then stood up and walked out. When I got home, I paid the babysitter and sat with everything for a few minutes. Then I called a few close friends and family. Most were on my side. They said Natalie was way out of line, and Elliot completely dropped the ball by springing a work dinner on my birthday. But my sister and my dad both said I should have stuck it out, that I could have played it cool, gotten through dinner, and talked to Elliot about it afterward. They said walking out just made me look dramatic and gave Natalie something to talk about. Elliot got home about 45 minutes later. I heard him come in, but I was in our daughter's room tucking her into bed. When I came out, he immediately gave me an earful about how I embarrassed him at the restaurant. I snapped back that there was no reason his coworkers needed to be there on my birthday dinner, especially someone I had already expressed my discomfort with based on past interactions, which he chose to completely dismiss. And honestly, this wasn't the first time something like this happened. A couple of years ago, when I was newly postpartum and barely sleeping, Elliot invited a few coworkers over to the house for just a quick drink without asking me, while I was still in pajamas, breastfeeding, and our place was a disaster. When I confronted him about it then, he brushed it off and told me I was being too sensitive. I truly thought we had moved past that. I thought he had learned to listen, to not make me feel invisible in my own life. But this dinner brought it all back. The disregard, the minimization, the casual decision-making without any regard for how it would affect me. Since then, it's been about a week, and Elliot has barely spoken a word to me unless it's absolutely necessary. No check-ins, no apology, just cold silence. I suggested we look into marriage counseling, because clearly something deeper is going on here. And once again, he dismissed it, said we don't need counseling and that it's not that serious. But it is serious to me. And now I'm seriously debating calling one of my close friends from law school, who also happens to be a divorce attorney, just to talk, just to understand my options. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to my channel. There are many great stories for you on my channel. Thank you for watching.